The first thing we need to learn, besides how to type, is how to navigate the file system in our Linux machine. Unlike Windows, a Unix-like operating system such as Linux organizes its files in hierarchical directory structure. Here I'll use the term directory. You are used to the term folder from Windows, but the term directory is often used in Linux. Directory came to Linux from the Unix world, where everything is a file, including directories. Thus, the directories do not store files, but contain data about their location on disk. Therefore, the use of the term directory is more preferable in Linux. However, in the Linux GUI, directories are visualized as folders where files are stored. Therefore, you can use any term that is convenient for you. But it is worth remembering that in Linux it is more preferable to use the term directory instead of folder. The directory structure in Linux looks like a tree. The first directory in the file system is called the root directory, which is defined by a /. Some people confuse this forward and backward slash. Here is a trick. If the head of the slash bends forward, then it's a /. Only Windows uses backward slash, and the rest of the world, including the internet, uses /. Anyway, Windows has separate file system tree for each storage device, but Linux always have single file system tree, regardless of how many storage devices are attached to the system. Storage devices are mounted at various points on the tree. For example, if you attach an external hard drive to your system, you can mount in the path /mnt/external or /media/external. That is up to you. Most of us are familiar with graphical file managers with appended file structure representation, as you can see here. The root is at the top, and the various directory or subdirectories are descending below. However, the command line has no pictures, so to navigate the file system tree, we need to think of it in a different way. At any given time, we are inside a single directory, and we can see the files contained in the directory and the pathway to the directory above us, also known as the parent directory, and any subdirectories below us. The directory in which we are currently standing is called current working directory. To display the current working directory, we use the command pwd. Pwd stands for print working directory. When we start a terminal session, our present working directory is our home directory. Each user account is given its own home directory, and a regular user is allowed to write files only to their home directory by default. To list the files and directories in the current working directory, we use the command ls. Actually, we can use the ls command to list the contents of any directory, not just the current working directory, and there are many other fun things we can do with it as well. We'll learn more about that in our next video. To change our current working directory, we use the cd command. Type cd and then the path you want to go. A path name is the route we take along the branches of the tree to get to the directory we want. We can specify path name in two ways: absolute path names or as relative path names. Let's look at absolute path name first. An absolute path name starts from the root directory and follows the tree branch by branch until the path to the desired directory or file is completed. For example, /usr/bin directory. This directory contains most of the system's programs installed. This means from the root directory, which is represented by a slash, there is a directory called usr, and the usr directory has a subdirectory called bin. Now we have changed the current working directory to /usr/bin. Can you see how the shell prompt has changed? As a convenience, it is usually set up automatically display the name of the working directory. Now we'll see relative path names, where the absolute path name starts from the root directory and leads to its destination. A relative path name starts from the working directory. To do this, it uses a couple of special notations to represent relative positions in the file system tree. These special notations are dot and dot dot. The dot notation refers to the working directory, and the dot dot notation refers to the working directory's parent directory. Currently we are in the path /usr/bin. Now, let's say we wanted to change the working directory to the parent of /usr/bin, which is /usr. We could do it in two different ways, either with an absolute path name like this, or with a relative path name like this. So, Two different methods with the same results. Which one should we use? You're right. We use the one which requires least typing. Likewise, we can change the working directory from /usr to /usr/bin in two different ways, by using an absolute path name like this, or using a relative path name like this. There is something important to point out here. In almost all cases, we can omit the / part here because it is implied. Typing without the / does the same thing. In general, if we do not specify a path name to something, the working directory will be assumed. On Linux systems, files are named in a manner similar to that of other systems such as Microsoft Windows, but there are some differences to note. File names that begin with a dot are hidden. The ls command will not show any hidden files or directories by default. Use ls-a command to show all files and directories, including the hidden ones. Go to your home directory, and you will see many hidden folders and files are there. We'll explore those later. File names and commands are case-sensitive in Linux and all other Unix systems. For example, these two files are not same. Although Linux supports long file names containing spaces and special characters, do not use any special characters other than period, dash, and underscores. Also, it's best not to use spaces in a file name. Use the underscore character instead. You'll thank yourself later. Linux has no concept of a file extension like Windows. You can name files any way you like. The contents or purpose of a file is determined by other means. Let's practice some other commands. Use the command cd to go to your home directory. Use cd- to go to the previous working directory. Use the command cd username to go to the home folder of another user. Let's say Bob. In this video we learned how the shell treats the directory structure of the system. We learned relative and absolute paths, and some basic commands to move around the system. In the next video, we are going to use this knowledge to go on a tour of a modern Linux system. Make sure to practice and explore whatever you learned today. Please share this video with your friends and include all of them to our journey to master the Linux command line. See you on the next one.